Roman Forum, the Colosseum, the Pantheon. Today, they are magnificent ruins, haunting echoes of a power that once ruled the known world. The fall of Rome in 476 AD is the event that, for many, marks the end of the ancient world and beginning of a 1,000-year slumber, the Dark Ages. It was an age of fragmentation, of lost knowledge, of brutal conflict, an age from which our modern world had to painfully and slowly claw its way back. But what if it never happened? What if the pillars of the empire never crumbled? What if the eternal city remained the eternal capital of a world-spanning civilization? Join us as we journey into a timeline not of ruins, but of unbroken rule, a world where the Roman Empire never fell. To understand how Rome could have survived, we must first understand why it fell. It wasn't one event, but a death by 1,000 cuts. By the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the empire was groaning under its own weight. Economic crisis, hyperinflation, relentless political instability with emperors being assassinated every few years, and immense pressure on its borders from Germanic tribes, Goths, and Vandals. In our timeline, these cracks shattered the Western Empire. But in the timeline of the Eternal Empire, a series of wise, forward-thinking emperors emerge around the year 300 AD. Let's call the first of them Aurelianus II, a successor to the historical Emperor Aurelian who briefly stabilized the empire. This new dynasty of emperors makes 3 critical changes. First, they solved the economic crisis by creating a new, stable currency backed by the empire's vast resources, ending the cycle of inflation. Second, they solved the succession crisis, establishing a clear system for peaceful transitions of power, ending the civil wars. And third, and most importantly, they changed their approach to the barbarians. Instead of an endless, draining war, they begin a process of managed integration. They offer entire tribe citizenship and land in sparsely populated regions in exchange for military service. These new citizens, the Goths, the Franks, the Vandals, are not conquerors. They become Romans. They are tasked with defending the borders, their new home, from more hostile outsiders. The result? By the year 600 AD, a time when our Europe was a chaotic patchwork of warring kingdoms, this Roman Empire is more stable and prosperous than ever. The Eastern and Western halves don't permanently split. They operate as 2 great administrative zones of a single, unified imperium. The Dark Ages are erased from history before they can even begin. With centuries of uninterrupted peace and a vast, interconnected economy, Roman innovation, which had stagnated in our timeline, now explodes. The engineering genius that built the aqueducts and the Colosseum is now applied to new challenges. Knowledge is not only preserved, it is weaponized. The scientific method flourishes. By 900 AD, a Roman Renaissance is in full swing. Thinkers in Rome, Athens, and Alexandria are making discoveries in physics, mathematics, and astronomy that our world wouldn't see until the 1600s. And this leads to the next great leap. The Romans had a primitive steam engine, the Eolipile. In this timeline, it is not a toy. It is the future. This is an industrial revolution powered by Roman organization. Legions, no longer just marching soldiers, become corps of engineers and mechanized infantry. The empire's ability to project power becomes absolute. Around 1200 AD, Roman steamships crossed the Atlantic, making contact with the Americas. But this is not the small, desperate expedition of Columbus. This is the organized might of a global superpower. The Aztec and Incan empires, while impressive, stand little chance against the technology and resources of an industrialized Rome. They are not wiped out, but are absorbed, becoming new provinces of the ever-expanding Imperium Romanum. By 1500 AD, the world is largely bipolar. In the west, the almost global Roman Empire. In the east, the great dynasties of China. They are rivals, but the vast distance in the Himalayas keep them in a state of a long, tense Cold War. So, what is it like to live in this eternal, global empire? For the average citizen in the year 1800, life is good, unimaginably good by our standards of time. The Roman state, rich beyond comprehension, provides for its citizens. Panem et circenses, bread and circuses, remains the guiding principle. Every citizen is guaranteed food, housing, and spectacular entertainment. The Colosseum now hosts holographic gladiatorial games and stunning theatrical productions broadcast across the globe. But this stability comes at a price. The first casualty is culture. With Latin as a universal language of government and commerce for 2,000 years, languages like French, Spanish, Italian, and English never evolve. They remain tiny local dialects, if they exist at all. The world is culturally homogeneous. Roman. The second casualty is religion. Christianity still exists, but it doesn't dominate. It never became the state religion of a failing empire seeking solace. Instead, it finds its place as one of many faiths within a vast Roman pantheon, which continues to be tolerant of any religion that doesn't challenge the emperor's authority. The devastating religious wars that tore our Europe apart never happened, but the fervor and philosophy born from that conflict also never materializes. And the third and most significant casualty is freedom. The concepts of democracy, of revolution, of the rights of the individual were forged in the fires of our chaotic history. The Magna Carta, the French Revolution, the American Declaration of Independence. None of these exist. The world has traded freedom for stability. The Roman Senate still meets, but it is a rubber stamp for the emperor. Life is safe, comfortable, and predictable, but it is a life within a gilded cage. There are no nations to fight for, no kings to overthrow, only the eternal, unchallengeable might of Rome. So where does a civilization that has conquered its own planet turn its gaze? Upwards to the stars. By their year 2025, humanity has not only walked on the moon, they have settled it. Colonia Luna is a gleaming city under a crystal dome. Mars, the god of war, has been tamed, its red sands hosting Roman cities and terraforming projects. Vast fleets of fusion-powered ships, named after legendary legions like the Nona Hispana and the Decima Gemina, patrol the solar system, protecting Roman trade routes between the planets. This is the ultimate triumph of the eternal empire, a civilization that reached from a single city to rule a world, and then reached for the heavens themselves. And so we are left with the final, profound question. Looking at this incredible timeline, a world without plagues, without devastating wars of religion, a world of technological marvels and interplanetary travel, it is easy to see it as a paradise we lost. But is it? Our history is messy, brutal, and often tragic. It is filled with the struggles of nations fighting for their identity, of people fighting for their beliefs, of individuals fighting for their freedom. Was that struggle necessary? Did the chaos of our timeline forge a strength, a diversity of thought, and a concept of liberty that this perfect, monolithic empire could never understand? Which is better, the gilded cage of a perfect, eternal empire, or the chaotic freedom of a world that had to fight for every step of progress? The answer, perhaps, lies not in the timeline we wish we had, but in the lessons we learn from the one we do. If this journey to an unbroken Rome sparked your imagination, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more explorations into the greatest what-ifs of history. What empire's fate should we rewrite next? Tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching.